Let me tell you a story, not of kings and queens, not of warriors and battles, but of a mother's love. A story that begins with poverty, grows with sacrifice, and ends with tears. Mama Achieng and her son, in a small village of red soil and grass-thatched huts, there lived a woman named Mama Achieng. She was not rich. She was not honored. But she had one treasure, her only child, a boy named Otieno. Her husband had left her when Otieno was still crawling. He went to the town, married another woman, and forgot the family he left behind. But Mama Achieng did not give up. She lifted her chin and said, "I will not let my son fall. My hands will work, my back will bend, my feet will walk until they bleed, all for him." The struggles of a mother. She did every job the village could offer. She swept other people's compounds until her hands blistered. She washed clothes at the river until her fingers cracked. She carried heavy loads from the market on her back. She bent in the fields planting and weeding, though she had none of her own. Some days she had no food. She would boil water in a pot so that Otieno, her boy, would think food was coming. He would fall asleep waiting, and she would cry quietly in the dark. But when the morning came, she tied her wrapper, wiped her face, and worked again. The boy who rose Otieno was bright, sharper than the morning star. He studied under a smoky kerosene lamp. He wore patched uniforms, but walked proudly to school. When school fees were demanded, his mother would kneel before the headmaster, offering coins she had earned with sweat. "Please," she begged, "let my son stay." And so Otieno rose, from primary to secondary, and finally to university. On the day he was accepted, Mama Achieng ululated in the village. She danced barefoot in the dust, tears running down her face. "This boy will change our story," she cried. The promise Otieno studied hard, graduated, and found a good job in the city. He came home once, his arms full of groceries, his face shining. He hugged his mother and said, "Mama, your suffering is over. I will build you a house, a real house with iron sheets, with a floor that rain cannot touch. I will send you food every month. You will rest now, Mama, you will rest." Mama Achieng held him tight. "My son, you are my miracle." For a few months, true to his word, he sent her flour, sugar, oil, and soap. She smiled every time the bus from the city arrived with her parcels. She told the villagers, "My son has not forgotten me." The silence, but then the parcels stopped. No flour, no sugar, no oil. The bus came empty. The villagers began to whisper, "Where is your son now, Mama Achieng? Did he not promise you a house? Did he not say you would rest?" She defended him. "He is busy. Work has delayed him. He will remember me soon." But deep inside, her heart cracked like dry earth in the sun. She did not have a phone to call him. She did not know where to find him in the suburbs of the city. She only had silence. The sun in the city. Otieno's life changed. He moved to a wealthy suburb. He dressed in fine suits. He drove a shiny car. He had rich friends who drank expensive wine and laughed at the poor. When they asked about his family, Otieno bowed his head. He was ashamed to speak of his mother, the woman who bent her back for him, who went to bed hungry so that he could study. He told no one about the mud hut she still lived in, and then he married. He married a beautiful woman, the daughter of a rich family. She was tall, elegant, but her heart was cold as stone. When Mama Achieng once tried to visit, this wife turned her away. "We cannot have villagers embarrassing us here." Otieno said nothing. He lowered his eyes, ashamed of the one who gave him life, the forgotten mother back in the village. Mama Achieng grew weaker. Age and hunger pressed down on her, but still she worked. She swept. She washed. She weeded. For she could not stop working, not for herself, but because she still hoped her son would come. Every evening she sat outside her hut, watching the dusty road. Maybe he would come today. Maybe he would bring the groceries again. Maybe he would build the house, but the road stayed empty. The end of waiting one season, the rains were heavy. Mama Achieng fell sick. There was no money for medicine. "No son to bring help," she whispered in her hut, her voice faint. "Otieno, my son, I carried you. I fed you. I worked until my bones ached. I thought you would remember, but now I see I was only a step on your ladder. You climbed and you left me behind." And with tears in her eyes, she closed them for the last time, the regret. When news reached the city that Mama Achieng had died, Otieno did not rush home. He was too busy with his rich friends, too busy with his cold wife. But when finally he came to the village and saw the small grave, when he saw the old hut still standing weak and broken, he fell to his knees. His friends were not there. His wife was not there. Only the grave of the woman who had given him everything. He wept, but it was too late. Epilogue. And so, children, the tale is told. A mother's love is deeper than the ocean. A mother's sacrifice is higher than the mountains. But when a child forgets that forgetting is sharper than a knife, let no one among you grow ashamed of your roots. Let no one among you forget the hands that fed you. For a mother's tears can bless or they can curse.